Hello, I'm Kate from the Makery, and today I'm going to show you how to make your very own lovely fabric baskets like these. So what you need for this project is some fabric for the outer, some other fabric for the lining, some heavyweight iron-on interfacing, and then a sewing machine, pins and some scissors, and a tape measure. So first of all, you need to work out the height and the diameter that you'd like your storage basket to be. For the height, of course, you need to add a few centimetres on for the cuff here, like this. So once you've worked out the height, that is the width that your fabric needs to be cut at. And then, of course, the length of your fabric for the sides needs to be the circumference of the circle. So I've put the maths for that on the screen for you to work it out yourself. So once you've worked out the sizes of all of your pieces of fabric, for the side pieces, you need one piece for your outer fabric, one for your lining, and then the same again of heavyweight iron-on interfacing. So you should have 3 pieces for that, all the same size. And then for the base, you need the same. So one piece for your outer fabric, one for your lining, and another of your interfacing. First step is to apply the interfacing to the outer fabric. So if you take your fabric and iron on the interfacing to the wrong side of your fabric, make sure that you remove any bits and bobs and that everything's nicely ironed beforehand. And then if you iron it on with a medium heat setting on your iron, and just make sure that the shiny side of the interfacing is the side that's facing your fabric. So you want to do that for your outer fabric of the side pieces, and also for the base as well. Right, so the first job is to take one of your side pieces of fabric, it can be the lining or the outer, and fold it in half like so, so that the 2 short ends match up. And you want to pin those short ends together and sew with a 1 centimetre seam allowance. So if you do that for the lining fabric and also for the interfaced outer fabric as well. So what we've done now that we've stitched down that side seam is press the seam open and nice and flat. And now we need to attach this side tube onto the corresponding base fabric. So it's a bit of a kind of, you have to wiggle it around a little bit to make it fit. But what you need to do is apply it so that it's right sides facing, and so that the raw edges line up with each other, and just start pinning the side all the way around the circle edges of the base. You might find that once you've pinned all the way around, it doesn't quite meet up properly, so you might have to just kind of go around and readjust your pins slightly so that it all fits and you don't have any puckers, but don't worry, that's fine. So I've pinned the base to the side all the way around, kind of easing the fabric in. As you can see, there's a slight overlap, but that's fine. It means that the fabric is all matching up with no puckers at all. So what we need to do next is machine stitch that in place all the way around, about 1 centimetre in from the edge of the bottom of the side piece here. So once you've stitched your basket around the bottom like that, what you need to do is trim off any excess fabric like this, and then you can also, just every centimetre or 2 centimetres, make a little snip like this. And that will just mean that when your basket is standing upright, it won't look so bulky and it'll be a bit neater around the bottom edge. So we've stitched both our lining and our outer. So what I'm going to do is sit the lining inside the outer fabric with the right sides facing, like this. And I'm also going to line up the 2 side seams, like that. So if you pin the lining to the outer all the way around that top edge, what we're going to do is machine stitch those 2 together with about a 1 centimetre seam allowance. But you need to make sure that you leave a gap of about 7 or 8 centimetres at some point. It's quite nice to leave the gap quite near the side seam, because then you can put all of that at the back. And we're going to eventually turn it the right side out through that gap that you leave. Right, so we'll turn everything the right side out through that gap that we've just left, like this. There we go, so it's all kind of coming together. So we'll then sit the lining inside the outer. And what you need to do, the final piece of stitching, is to, all around the top outside edge, like this, if you just pin it again and make sure that it's nice and crisp all the way around there, and then if you just do one final line of top stitching, about maybe half a centimetre in from the edge, and that will just hold everything in place and make it look nice and neat. And what that will also do is, at the place where you left your gap, it will mean that we can seal the gap and hide it all together. So if you just pop your pin in there like so, and then do your top stitching. So that's all stitched in place. So the last thing to do is just fold over the top cuff and then fill your basket with whatever you like.